when you work with the spirits, you experience that flow of energy through you. Also, when meditating, you have that, or basically you train that channel of light through your body. And when you work with specific spirits, you can use that energy that flows through you to channel it into certain activities that you like. For example, art. You can express that energy in different forms. When you work with the spirits, you also experience that flow of energy of that spirit through you. And I like to compare it like a channel that is being created between you and the spirit, where information can flow in both directions. It is also very similar to establishing a link to another person, where the same happens basically, where information passes. If you have a mental connection to another person, or like a psychic link to another person, you will experience that you have similar thoughts. Thoughts kick in at the same time. As you draw something from that infinite knowledge base, other people may do as well. So I'm a guitar player. I also like to write. For example, in the past I created lyrics for my song, for my band projects. And I was always wondering that idea. I always had that idea in mind, where that information comes from, or where that impulse comes from. To me, it is more than simply putting some notes together that sound good. You can plan it through with your rational mind. There are certain systems in music, for example, where certain intervals evoke, or certain note combinations evoke certain feelings and emotions in other people when they listen to it. If you channel that energy into a musical project, to me it is more than simply putting these notes together in a thought out way. Important point to understand is you need to train your brain first. You need that rational effort first before you are able to receive something. So in a way, you shape your brain to receive. When you receive something, when you work with the spirit, when you receive something, or when you tap into that consciousness, you have more expressive power to give shape to your creations. Skill in an art form has to be there to a certain extent. Either you have a talent, or you work on your skill till you have a decent base so that you can create something at a professional level. Songs have been written that have that special character, that special something that we can hardly explain, and I see it as an expression of that divine energy, or that connection with a spiritual force. Such musicians may not always be aware of that, but they certainly tap into a higher power, into an unseen layer of reality. As I said before, you need to train that rational mind before being able to receive. Or I mean, you can basically receive even without any type of skill, but the problem then comes into play that you have no idea how to give shape to that energy. Very similar activity could be writing, although writing may be more of a conscious process. But when I think about my writing process, it is quite often I sit there in front of my computer typing, and suddenly that feeling overwhelms me. I have also had the feeling that spirits come to me in that moment. It's really strange. When I sit in front of my computer, I'm not aware of the presence of any spirit form before engaging in that activity, but when I do, quite often, when I work on my book, for example, quite often I feel surrounded by by these spirits I've been working with, and sometimes they even stimulate my thought to go in a certain direction. It feels sometimes as if I can switch off my mind entirely, and my writing happens almost automatically. It's like the combination of your knowledge base with that divine force that you are channeling. What is required to let that energy flow through you? What is required to be able to channel that energy into an activity? I think you need to be open towards these impressions, or you need to be open towards receiving such impressions. It has to feel like the last moment, or the only moment you can create something. Very much like when you are in the moment, like in a meditative state. It's very similar to that. When you get into that state, you can quickly tap into that energy, and you can quickly tap into that consciousness. So when you get into that receptive state, quite often it happens automatically that you connect and unite with the powers of the forces that you have been working with.